Okay. Good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So sorry for the delay. I need to set a few things up at my side. Okay. So we'll do one thing. We'll start with the exercises straight so that we can cover a little more for today's class. Anyway, this one is on adjective and adverb. So we started discussing this in the last class. We did have like a sort of preliminary discussion. We'll continue doing these exercises and see if there are any, cases where we need more understanding, right? Or mostly it is not, except that, like we were talking in the last class about, there are certain words which could be used both as adjectives and adverbs, right? So just keep an eye on such words. There's nothing to have a list of such words or anything. You just need to look into the sentence, right? So for when you're learning a language, especially the grammatical component, sentence becomes your basic unit, right? Because that is the basic meaningful unit when you consider grammar as such. Words cannot talk to you about grammar, but sentence can. So if you look at the sentence closely enough, all these information, whether the word used here is an adjective or an adverb, or some other category, all of this information about the grammatical categories of the word is usually learned through looking at the sentence closely and based on what its function is in the sentence. So it shouldn't be a difficult task to do, but let's see if there are confusing words, even when you understand these differences. Okay, so the first question here, the soup smells dash. I'm absolutely sure it's very good. Give nice and nicely.
Nice.
Nice, right? And what is this? So the question also asks you to say whether the given word is an adjective or an adverb, right? So the soup smells nice. What is it? Is it um, uh, an adjective or an adverb?
Adverb.
The soup smells nice. Yeah, go ahead.
Adjective.
So what do you think about this word nice, right? Uh, do you think it can be used both as an adjective and an adverb? Based on our previous discussions, we had a few words from the previous exercise, right? So I say something like very nice, right? Very nice. What is the category of adjective here? Sorry, category of nice here.
Adverb.
Why is it an adverb? You need to explain why it is an adverb. Why do you think it is an adverb?
Ma'am, can you repeat sentence?
The sentence is right there on the screen. The first question. The soup smells dash. I'm absolutely sure it's very good.
Because of smells. Because smells is a
Because of
verb.
smell.
Smell
It is
is
not,
a verb. That's why
of course.
nice is
So if
a
you
verb.
have a sentence like, say, okay, all right. So because of smells, you think it is nice. Sorry, no, what is it? Adverb, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. But see the usage of, you remember we discussed about the attributive and predicative use of adjective in the last class. This is a sentence which is written in a predicative form, right? This is basically an adjective, right? But in the format of the sentence, it has become a predicative adjective. So nice is an adjective always, right? It doesn't have a dual role of being an adverb like you see in other cases. it's always considered to be an adjective. It does not give you a flavor of being an adverb, as in it cannot qualify adverbs or adjectives or verbs as such. Okay. The smells, the format that you see here in the sentence is because this is a predicative use, right? Wherein the adjective is not used along with the noun, but it is used in the predicate form of the sentence, right? This is why it is like that. Last time again, I think I remember someone asking me about the adjective happy, right? I am happy and I am a happy person. This is a same distinction. Okay, although it looks like it is qualifying the verb here, but that's not the case. Okay, because of the predicative usage. So be a little careful about it. Think about this part as well. When you're dealing with adjective in a sentence, see if the adjective is used. If it is attributive, it is all right for us, right? If it's used along with the noun, right? Like nice person. But if it is in a predicative usage, like in the sentence, then pay a little more attention to check if the given word is adverb or adjective. Okay. Okay. So here it has to be nice. As an adjective. Nicely, because nicely as a word exists. So if nicely as a word is used to qualify a verb or adverb or adjective, which is as an adverb, then of course nice has to be an adjective, right? This is nicely done. If I say this is nicely done, then nicely is an adverb here, right? Most often than not, if you have ly form of the adverb for the given adjective, right? Like in this case, nice has nicely, then obviously nice has to be an adjective. In the absence of anything like that, then you can think about whether the usage is as adverb or adjective. Okay. If ly form of the word, okay, of the adjective is present, then most often separate adverb, right? So nice and nicely are then pairs. Nice is adjective and nicely is adverb. Okay. Second one again. So in this exercise, you're going to see a lot of words like that, right? So which directly has derived from the adjective. So nice, nicely, bad, badly, cold, coldly, late, lately, directly, right? Okay. So have you ever been, second one, have you ever been dash injured? Bad, badly.
Badly.
Have you ever been badly injured? Now, why is that the case here? What do you have here? Why is it badly here? No, I know answer is badly. Someone already gave me the answer, but why is it badly? The question is, why do you use badly? What is your qualified word here? What is it qualifying?
It is adverb.
It is an adverb, I know. My question is, which word is it qualifying? There is a word in the sentence which this badly qualifies.
Injured.
Which is that?
Injured. I
Injured,
think.
right? Yeah. So injured is the word which is being qualified. Now injured is what? It's an adjective here. You should know adjectives also have an ed and ing form. You know, words like one is this, injured or bored, okay, or interested. So if you have ed attached to certain words, not all words, of course, ed we also know as a marker for past tense, right? Simple past tense or sometimes also past participle. But the same ed can also be used to convert a word into an adjective, right? So in this case, injured, badly injured, right? Even ing. So you can say an interesting movie, right? So here again, you're using ing as a participle marker for it, making that into an adjective. Keep that in mind. In sentences, sometimes you can also have this ed ing forms of adjectives. Okay. Okay. Third one, the water in the river feels dash in the morning. Cold, coldly.
Coldly.
Cold.
How does it feel? Okay. The water in the river feels dash in the morning. Cold, coldly.
Cold. Cold.
It feels cold, right? You don't say feels coldly, right? I talked to you about this. I don't know if it was this class or maybe during the live session. There are something, if you have looked at the verbs part already in parts of speech, you have two kinds of verbs mostly if you categorize, right? There are many, but the main broader classification, you have two kinds of verbs. What are they? Broader classification of verbs. What are the types of verbs you have? I'm not talking about nature of verbs. So don't tell me transitive and transitive. Broader classification, you have action verbs and you have state verbs, right? You know this distinction? Have you heard about this before?
No, ma'am.
Not even in the lecture. So if you haven't, then you need to revisit the lectures again. You're not watching it, probably you're only watching it passively, right? So verbs have a category. If you look at the broader classification of verbs, you have something called action verbs. Action verbs are what? What are action verbs?
In which we are
Give me
performing an
examples of.
action.
Yeah, exactly. Where you there's an actual action being performed, right? Like
Run
say,
fastly.
no, not run. Run. Yes, correct. That is right. Run, eat, drink, okay, sing, dance, etc. So on and so forth. So where there's an action performed, an actual action performed, you call that an action verb. But you have other verbs, right? For example, look at these: smells, feels, seem, appear, right? Think. These are all examples of what you call, or even things like, hate, love. Okay. All of these are called state verbs or stative verbs. This indicates a certain condition, a state, mental state or condition, right? They're not actual actions. You don't perform
Okay, ma'am.
anything as in that. Okay.
Feels
So
or
these kind of verbs, sorry?
like a feeling or taste.
Yes, mostly something that has got the, where the mind is in function. Okay. Something that you don't do physically with your body, but something that is more abstract, something that is done with your mind, right? Which involves thinking. Okay. So this is called a state verb. Now, if you have a state verb in a sentence, right, it looks like you're talking about an adverb, but that's not the case, which is why you got confused in the first question as well. Somebody said because there is smells, I think this is an adverb, right? Same applies to the third question here. The water in the river feels. Okay, feels. This is again a predicative use. So you're going to use the word cold here. Most of us know it is not coldly because we have been learning English for a while. So you can guess, you can make a guess and say this is cold. But it is also important for us to know why we don't use coldly, right? The water in the river feels cold in the morning. Okay, so this is very similar to the sentence that we were discussing the other day. This is a good girl, or this girl is good, right? So the verb feels is somewhat like the auxiliary is, where it is mostly a mental condition. Auxiliary is not even that. So both of them, in the sense of use of adjective, falls within the same category. So remember that in these kind of sentences with stative verbs, right, like feels, appears, seems, etc., the use of the adjective can be in the predicative form mostly, right? Right. Fourth one, I need this money badly.
Ma'am, which word qualify cold? River feels, I think.
The water, right? Water is the one which would qualify. I mean, it doesn't qualify cold. Cold is the one qualifying the word water.
How I can know which word qualify or not? Means what's the criteria to
But
know?
you need to read from the sentence. You need to know which one is. See, if you read the sentence, can you not understand what is being qualified? So I say water in the river feels cold in the morning. What is cold here? What is cold here? If somebody asks you what is cold here, if I ask a question, how will you answer that question?
It's like temperature is very less when we can
Sorry?
say. When temperature is very less, then we can say cold.
No. Why are you overreading? I'm asking you, give an answer from the sentence. If I have a sentence like the water in the river feels cold in the morning, and somebody asks you what is cold in the morning, what is the answer to that question?
The water is
Water.
The water in the river, right? Or the
Water
water.
is cold.
So that is what is being qualified. right? That is the thing that is
So
being qualified.
we have to see in which word we are talking about. About
Yes,
which
of
word we are
course.
talking.
See, I told you this in the last class also. When you are doing exercises in grammar, don't go beyond the sentence. Don't read beyond, don't try to make a connection with it in the rest of the discourse, right? Rest of the knowledge that you have about it. We are only dealing with that sentence strictly. Your answer has to be on the sentence strictly. You don't have to read anything beyond that. Okay. So just look at the sentence. Whatever your answer is, the answers to all your question has to come from the given sentence. It cannot go beyond that. Okay. So that's how you look at grammar, because grammar is technical. That's the only technical part in language, right? Technical, when you're dealing with technical things, you usually don't go beyond the context and the dimension specified for you. Same applies to grammar learning also. Okay. Right. Fourth one, I need this money dash. Bad or badly? Badly, right? Badly. I need this money badly. Okay. You should apologize. You are dash. Late, lately.
Late.
Late, right? And what is late? Is late an adverb or is it an adjective?
Adjective.
You are late. So it's an adjective. Right? When I say you are late, it's an adjective. Okay. Here, in this case, it's used as an adjective. Now, do you think late can also be used as an adverb? We can, right? If I say,
Yes, ma'am.
I arrived late. Okay, I arrived late or somebody arrived late. Okay. So you're talking about how someone has, you're describing the action here, how something has taken place, how somebody's arrival is being qualified. So late then is a case which can, it's a word which can be used as both an adverb and an adjective. But in this case, this is not an adverb. Here it is used as an adjective because see, you are late, right? It's basically a qualification for the person in this case. Okay. So here it is used as an adjective, but we also have adverbial use of the word late. Okay. Now, sixth one, they came dash after breakfast. Direct or directly?
Directly.
Directly.
Directly after breakfast. They came directly after breakfast. Okay. Seventh one, my boss is a dash respected man, highly high.
Highly.
Highly.
Highly, like highly respected. So respected here is then what? It's a adverb or adjective?
Adverb.
Respected man. You have a word, a noun that it's an adjective, no? Because you have a noun here, respected man. Respected is the adjective which is qualifying man. And highly is the adverb which is qualifying the adjective respected. So highly respected man. Okay. The plane was dash up in the sky.
High.
It was high up in the sky. Okay. So the plane was high up in the sky. Usage, adverb or adjective? High up in the sky. Adjective. High up in the sky. Okay. Not adjective. Sorry, not adverb, but adjective. High up in the sky. Just give me a moment. Yeah. Next one. It was a dash train. Slowly.
Slow.
Okay, it was a slow train. And in this case, whether the word is used as an adjective or adverb, how is it used?
Adverb.
Adjective.
It was a slow train.
Adjective.
Adjective, right? What kind of a train? It was a slow train. So slow is used here as an adjective. And we discussed this in the last class. Can we use slow also as an adverb?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we can, right? So he writes slow. He always writes slow. Right? It can be used as an adverb.
Ma'am, this is a state verb.
Sorry, did not get your question. What was it?
This is a state verb.
This is not a straight verb. Where is the straight verb? No. Slow is it's either used as an adjective or an adverb. It's not a verb. Okay. So it was a
Okay, ma'am.
slow train. So it's an adjective here now. 10th one. How dash of you to help me? How
Nice.
dash of you now? You have nice and nicely here.
Nice.
Nice. How nice of you to help me. Now, what is nice here? Is this an adjective or an adverb?
Adjective.
How nice of you to help me. What do you think? If you look up a dictionary, you probably don't get the meaning of nice entirely, but I want you to comment based on the use here. How nice of you to help me.
Adverb.
How nice of you to help me. No, you don't get confused, just because I asked a counter question. It's an adjective. How nice of you to help me is still an adjective. There is no change in that, right? How nice of you to help me. Okay. Still the usage is as an adjective. Okay. Okay, before we move any further, I wanted to ask you a question about the 8th question. The plane was high up in the sky. What about the word high? So in 7th one, this was used as an adjective, right?
Adjective.
Sorry, it was highly respected man. 8th one, you had high up in the sky. So is high used as an adjective or an adverb in this sentence? The plane was high up in the sky.
Adjective.
Adjective, right? The plane was high. See, understand that our sentence more or less ends at the plane was high. Up in the sky is something that has been added later on. You can still stop at the plane was high, right? So this usage is again predicative adjective usage, but high can also be used as an adverb. Okay, this is for your information. In the sentence here, we have used it as an adjective, but high again is a word which can be used as an adverb. Okay, so example, say you say something like
Seventh.
the statue. Sorry.
The 7th sentence, highly respected.
That is highly. No, there we don't use high. I'm looking for a sentence where high is used as an adverb, right? So you have a sentence like the statue stood about 5 feet high. The statue stood about 110 feet high. Okay, something of that sorts, right? So in this case, you're not using it as an adjective. Okay, how did it stand? 110 feet high. This is the answer. So it tells you how, which is why the usage here is, as the use of high here is as an adverb. Okay. So read through the sentence to find out whether a given word is an adverb, used as an adverb or an adjective. Okay. Right. Next goes okay, 10th we finish. I have dash finished, nearly near.
Dearly.
I have nearly finished. Okay, so nearly obviously is an adverb, right? And what is your adjective here? I have nearly finished. Which word is being qualified by nearly?
Finished.
And what is finished here? What is the
Adjective.
category? Adjective, right? Adjective, correct. Then comes the next one. The tall woman. The tall woman smiled at me. Dash prettily.
Prettily.
Prettily, right? Prettily, because pretty is it's used as an adjective. Can pretty be used as an adverb as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, right. So you say he looked pretty, um, uh, pretty
Pretty
tense,
much.
right? Pretty much, or he looked pretty tense, or he looked pretty concerned, right? This usage is that of an adverb. Okay, so pretty is also an adverb of degree, right? to say to convey to what extent somebody looked concerned, or to say to what extent certain adjective or verb has been performed, right? In this case, prettily is the adverb you use here. So prettily is also an adverb, pretty is also an adverb, pretty is also an adjective, right? You say a pretty girl. Pretty girl is the usage is of as if an adjective. But when you say it was pretty, it is pretty hot in Chennai during the summer months, so you say this is the usage here is right, like an adverb. Okay. So all of these words, the words that we are discussing here, all of them, which means their adjective, the non-ly forms can also be used as adverbs, right? All of them: high, slow, nice, near, pretty, slow, bad, hard. All of them will have also an adverbial usage. That's the point here. I think I told you last class that we'll get to see a bunch of words which can be used both as adverbs and adjectives. These are those lists of words. Okay. Then comes the bus was going, 13th one. The bus was going dash, stopping at each bus stop. Slow, slowly.
Slow.
Slowly.
The bus was going slowly, stopping at each bus stop. Okay. Can I also say the bus was going slow, stopping at each bus stop? I can. Okay, that is also right. Because remember, we discussed this in the context of writing slow. So whether you say slow or slowly, both would be correct, because the usage here is going to be as that of an adverb, right? Whether you say the bus was going slowly or whether you say the bus was going slow, the usage is going to be as that of an adverb, right? In both cases. So no, not an issue. But this is not possible with all forms. Like you can't replace, say in sentence number 7, you can't replace highly with high. My boss is a high respected man is a wrong sentence. You have to say highly. In certain cases alone, especially in the cases like slow and slowly, you can, or fast and fastly. In fact, fastly as a word was something that was marked wrong for a long time in grammar. Okay, people would say fastly is wrong. There's no word called fastly. But, of course, languages undergo change. So in the current usage, in the current modern usage, current use of English, fastly is also considered a right and a grammatical use. Okay? Initially, that was not the case. It used to be marked wrong. Fastly was not considered a word that existed. But then people were like, why not? Okay, why can't we use that? Now it is accepted. So the slow, slowly, fast, fastly, this particular scenario comes from a revised modern usage of English. Okay. So the bus was going slow or the bus was going slowly. Both should be right. Because
So,
of the
ma'am, which
meaning.
is the most preferable word, slow or slowly?
Sorry, repeat that for me
Which is
again.
the most preferable? The bus was going
No,
slow or
so that's
slowly?
what I'm saying. No, if I'm saying both of them are appropriate, it means that it is in use. It's been used in frequent use, so it's correct. Nothing called more appropriate. That's your choice. If you think slow is better for me, then go for that. But grammatically, both are correct. We are not concerned about that part when it comes to grammar, right? Appropriateness is more like a contextual reading of something. In grammar, if your sentence is syntactically right, then it is right. That's all. Okay.
Okay.
So this is going slow or going slowly. Both should be fine. Right. 14. The motorways in your country are not badly. Which one would you use?
Bad.
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 Are not bad. Right. Are not bad. So again, bad, can it have adverbial use? Yes, definitely, right? So you say the summer here is real bad. Okay. In this case, bad is used as an adverb, not as an adjective. The summer, how is the summer here is real bad. Okay. So in this case, however, the motorways in your country are not bad. What is the usage here? This is adjective here, not adverb. Okay. Because you asked the question, what is bad? You can get the motorways. So if you're getting a noun as an answer, then obviously the usage has to be somewhere close to that of an adjective. Okay. Fine. So next one, 15. He didn't realize how dash things look for us, bad or badly.
Both are correct.
how badly things look for us, how bad things look for us. Both are correct. He didn't realize how. Okay, yeah, maybe bad and badly both can go. Correct. Then 16th one, I dash know her hardly. Dash know her.
Hardly.
Hardly.
I hardly know her. I hardly know her. Know is the verb that you need to qualify. So hardly is the adverb. I hardly know her. I haven't seen him. 17th one dash lately.
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 I haven't seen him lately. Okay, I haven't seen him lately. Okay. I have tried dash to pass my exam. Hardly.
Hard.
I have tried hard. Okay. So hard and hardly, they have very different meanings, right? Hardly is again an adverb of degree, shows you the extent to which something has happened. Hard is an adjective. It is a hardcore adjective, right? Now, can hard be used as an adverb as well? Or is the use of hard in this sentence, when you say I have tried hard to pass my exam, what is the use of hard here, as an adjective or an adverb?
Adverb.
Okay. Explain that to me. I have tried hard to pass my exam. If this is an adverb, why do you call this an adverb?
Ma'am, it's specifying the tried hard.
How did you try, right? So you tried hard. That is why it is an adverb. It's an adverbial use. It's not an adjective here. Okay. So hard again is something that can be used both as an adjective and an adverb, right? In this case, it is used as an adverb. Okay. Now he looked at us dash coldly. He looked at us
Both.
coldly.
Coldly.
Coldly. Okay. He looked at us coldly. Okay. And how about cold? I think we had this question before. So cold, can you use this as, the answer here is coldly, but since we have the pair here, can cold be used as an adverb?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it can also be used as an adverb, right? Example, can you think of anything?
He's very cold. I mean, in the sense of behavior. Cold behavior.
Cold behavior would still be adjective, no? Cold is your adjective, behavior is your noun. Very cold behavior, again, very is adverb. Cold adjective, behavior, noun. So say a sentence like, I stopped cold at the sight of a beast. Okay, I stopped cold. Let me just type it out for you so that you can make a note if you want. I stopped cold at the sight of a beast. Right, this sentence in your chat, please look at it. I stopped cold at the sight of a beast. Now, how did I stop? Stop cold, right? So this is an expression where cold is used as an adverb. Here it is not an adjective. Okay. So he looked at us cold. Here is the use as an adjective or an adverb. He looked at us coldly. This is adverb, right? When you have ly, then you don't have to think too much. It is anyway adverb. Okay. So cold, when used as an adverb, you can refer to the sentence in the chat, right? So cold is the word then which can be used both as adjective and an adverb, right? Okay. 20, my sister is somewhere dash the shop nearly.
Near.
Near, right? Near the shop. Okay. So what is near here? Near the shop?
Adjective.
Near the shop. Okay. Why is it an adjective?
Because shop.
Because shop, near the shop. No.
Sister.
No. Near cannot qualify anything that is usually, so you need to have something that is that can be qualified by near, right? So say something like near future or near distance, right? In that case, it is possible. Okay. In this case, don't you think it is more about location near the shop more than, you know, giving anything about, it is not adjective, right? It's not a qualifier in that sense, but it is telling you more about the location of something. My sister is somewhere near the shop. Where? It answers the question where. Does it not? Yes, no?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is then used as an adverb, okay, in this case. Okay, if it is giving you a sense of, see, keep this in mind. What is an adverb? So you need to go back to the definitions then in that case. What is an adverb? Adverb is basically a word which would tell you about the way in which something has
Mark.
taken place, the manner in which something has taken place, where it has taken place, when it has taken place, why it has taken place, right? When, how, except what, everything else, right? How, where, when, and why. If you get a sense of that from the given word, then it is obviously an adverb, right? This is also one method you can look at it. If you're more comfortable with answering questions in this way, then I would suggest this, because this is what functionally explains what that word is doing. So if in this sentence, again, it's giving you a sense of the place. So this is an adverb, right? Its usage as an adjective, again, the house. Okay, we will complete this project in the near future, right? Here, near is used as an adjective, right? Because it's qualifying the noun future. Okay, near future, not simply, anytime in the future, near future. Okay, the shop is located at near distance. Okay, again, here, near is used as an adjective. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so please do some practice with this questions, as well as, something that you can find on internet. I have indicated sources for all of them, at least for the ones which I have used. Similarly, you can find several other sources on the internet as well to practice this, right? So when you access the document from dashboard, you can go to this link and check for the answers there. I've not given the answers because these links automatically will give you answers. So when you're practicing, you can do that later on. But also find other worksheets which would help you, get a little versed with these questions. Okay.
You can suggest any website or something.
I don't have any suggestions because I also do random searches on internet, right? So it's a vast place. I don't have a repository. Maybe I'll think about it if I can have. If I find anything that is useful, then I'll share with you. They probably sent you, we'll put it out on the discussion forum or something. Okay, I'll look for one, but you keep looking for this on your own also. Okay.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so let's begin with prepositions. I have a little bit of things to discuss on prepositions. I have about 40 questions in prepositions, but let's see. What I think would be better for us is that we finish the first 10 for sure. And I want you to also look at the next 30 because in prepositions, the more commonly used prepositions are just 3 or 4. I would say 3 because mostly you use prepositions in a sentence to show location, to show direction, to show place, and to show situation, right? And also time, right? These are the major conditions that you use prepositions for in a sentence, right? So what are prepositions? So even before we begin talking about it, I'll take maybe 5 or 10 minutes extra so that I can, take up a chunk of this so that we don't lag on. I hope you don't have any other class. If you do, please feel free to leave by 11 o'clock. But if you can stay for another 5 or 7 minutes, it should be nice. Okay.
We are here. We have no other class.
You have another class or you don't?
We have a not. We don't have.
You don't have. Okay. If you don't have, then you fine. So that would be nice. So what are prepositions then? Quickly, what do prepositions? We know what adverbs and adjectives are now. We know their roles. So basically, largely classified as qualifiers or modifiers. What is the function of preposition in adjectives? We talk about prepositions. What do they do? I say something like, you know, the what is that? The chocolate is in the jar, for example. You know, the chocolate is in the jar. So what is the preposition here? The chocolate is in the jar.
In the jar.
In is your preposition, right? So what is it telling you about?
Telling the
Location.
position or place, relationship. They're telling the relationship.
Location of a
What-
chocolate.
Location or place.
Okay, location of the chocolate. Yes. Now someone used the word relationship. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
What is it showing a relationship between? So if you're saying relationship, then there should be at least two entities here, right? So what relationship does it define?
It shows the relationship between the time, place, and position, how things are going.
Yes, correct. But again, the relationship points are missing. What are the things that are being related? If I'm saying relationship, there should be at least 2 points, like I mentioned. Between
Chocolate
some
and jar. No?
Ma'am, can you
Sorry?
repeat the sentence?
Which
Whatever
sentence?
you gave
The
the
chocolate is in
example.
the jar.
Chocolate is in the box.
Yes.
The chocolate is in the jar.
Chocolate and box. So it's the
Huh. Yeah, go ahead.
jar.
It is talking about the place inside anything.
Okay, so the relationship between, somebody said that the chocolate and
Jar.
jar. Okay, so it's basically that particular part of the sentence which expresses relation between the noun or the pronoun. Remember, we talked about this noun. The moment you say a relation between a noun or something, pronoun is automatically a part of it, right? Because more or less they perform the same function in a sentence. Noun and pronoun have same referential stance most of the time. So relation between the subject noun and pronoun and the object noun or pronoun, right? So that is what the function of preposition. The preposition basically connects or provides a relationship between these two, right? Those kind of words, and while it is expressing the relationship, these words, what kind of relationships do they establish? They talk about the location of a certain subject noun or pronoun, or the direction of the noun or the pronoun, or the place of the noun or pronoun, okay, or the time at which the noun or pronoun has happened or is exhibiting it, right? So this is the kind of relationship that is defined by prepositions. Okay, so this is the basic understanding. This is, if somebody asks you what does a preposition do, this is the basic understanding of it. Now, of course, like adjectives and adverbs and all, there are numerous prepositions, right? You have many of them, but compared to nouns or verbs or adjectives, the number of prepositions would be more or less. What do you think, according to you? Just a simple guess. Will we have will the set of prepositions be larger than nouns, pronouns, adjectives, and verbs? Or do you think it's a smaller set than that?
Smaller.
Small, right?
It's not.
Small, because prepositions are proper functional words, right? They have, by which I mean, if you have a word like in and off and at and all, does it have a meaning per se? If I simply say off, do you know what it means? Is there any word in the universe around us where I can point to and say, oh, this is off, or this is in, oh, that one is at? Can I do that?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, right? There is no referential point as far as preposition is concerned. So when you use a word which does not have an actual reference in the world, we call them functional words, right? So conjunctions, prepositions, articles, right? They're all examples of functional words in English. Whereas if you say, nouns, you can usually point out when you're talking about nouns. Verbs, you can perform and show people. Adjectives, again, you can, in some sense, you can talk about them. People understand what we mean by beautiful and pretty and all that, but that's not the case with in and at and out. They definitely need two sets of either a noun or a pronoun in order to provide its full sense. So these are called functional words then. So functional words always have a limited set, They're also called closed category of words, closed category words, because very few words in comparison to the other category. Nouns and adjectives and verbs, they belong to what we call as open class category, because it's a growing list. You can add more nouns, more verbs, more adjective to that list, but preposition category is fixed. You cannot add more words to preposition or articles or conjunction. It is a set of words which is strictly limited in number. You cannot add more words to it. Okay. So in that sense, it's good, because once you know the use of the word, then it is not difficult for us, unlike adjectives and nouns where you need to know the meaning sometimes. But it is also a little confusing because of the reason that it is a smaller set, because one word then probably will be used in many ways. That is a problem with functional words. If you have very few words, which means one word can be used for similar, for different purposes, right? So for example, the word after, right? The word after can be used as an adjective. It can be used as an adverb. It can be used as a preposition. It can also be used as a preposition. Right. So these kind of issues can, you can face such issues. But of course, you read the sentence and most of it would be clear to you. You will know what is the usage. Same as the case with adverb and adjective. Okay. Now, the first 10 questions we are going to look at for the exercise is they are, they are prepositions like, the ones which we call as grammatical collocations. We haven't taken up the chapter on collocation yet, I mean the session on collocation yet. But briefly to tell you what it means, these prepositions, they are used the way they are used based on the words that follow them, right? For example, if I have to make it clearer for you, say if I have a word like differentiate, right? So what is the preposition that will follow differentiate? Differentiate, in, at, between, over. What do you say? Differentiate?
Between.
Between, right? If I say something like interested, then?
In.
In, right? I'm interested in so and so. If I say something like relevant, then this is relevant to, right? So these kind of prepositions are called grammatical collocations, because we do not have a reason why, why do you say relevant to, or why do you say interested in, or why do you say differentiate between? These are set phrases that are used in English by the speakers of that language, right? So I cannot provide, if you ask me, why is it not differentiate over? Why is it only differentiate between? I can only give you a semantic meaning. I can say, see, when I say differentiate, it has to be between at least two things. There has to be two things, and it has to happen, as an interlinear process. So maybe between. But in the case of differentiate between, at least I can give you that kind of an answer. But for several other combinations like this with a preposition, giving an answer is a little difficult. So if you ask me, why is it not interested at, and why is it only interested in, I do not know. Okay, so there are certain expressions which are used in a certain way in a given language. Our language also has usage like this. You cannot really explain why you cannot. And when I say you cannot really explain, I'm what I mean to say is that I cannot grammatically explain why it is relevant to, why it is only interested in. This is how that language is used, right? So this is how the conventional use of those prepositions are. So the set of words that you see here in the first 10 questions are these kind of prepositions, right? So they are used in this particular way in the language, right? When people, native speakers or people who use English most often, they use the prepositions in this way, right? So don't look forward for any explanation that is like logical here, right? The logic only comes from the meaning in this case. So like I told about differentiate between, right? No grammatical explanation is possible. Just understand these first 10 questions as a grammar in use. Okay. There are two different things. One is grammar by logic. You can understand, oh, because of this, because I'm using this particular word. Oh, there is an adjective, which is why to qualify it, I have to use an adverb. But certain things are what we call as grammar in use, right? Grammar in use basically means don't question. We do not know why. Logically explaining something is difficult in that case. We need to understand that is how it is used. Okay, I think my point is clear. I've spoken too much about it. I'm sure you have understood. Okay, so let's look at the first 10 questions. You will understand what it is. So let's start. I'd rather study and pass dash repeat the course instead than besides. Which one do you think would fit here? I mean, looking at the meaning, overall meaning of the sentence and the context, which one do you think will fit? I'd rather study and pass dash repeat the course.
I think
Than repeat the course, right? Than repeat the course. I'd rather study and pass than repeat the course. Okay, not besides. Besides has a very different meaning. Instead also is, again, people can ask, why can I not use instead? Pass instead, repeat the course. But the answer is instead cannot come because this is considered a wrong use, okay, or unacceptable. More than wrong, I would say it is an unacceptable use. Okay, grammatically probably you are not able to prove it wrong. People could still say that, oh, this is right. But when you consider the use of the language, again, this is an unacceptable use. Okay, so you would say than repeat the course, not instead repeat the course. Okay. 2, talking on phone while driving is dash the law, beyond, despite, against.
Against.
Again.
Against the law. Okay, against the law. Other two words anyway will not fit here because they're very different meanings. Third one, you will receive your parcel dash within, during, inside 10 days.
Within.
Within 10 days, right? Within 10 days. Or keep looking at the other options also. Within is the right answer here. But if you look at the words within, during, especially within and during, they both indicate what? They both indicate period of time, right? Both during and within indicate period of time. But look at how the use is different. In this case, although during also indicates period of time, you can't say that word here. You cannot use it here. This is what I meant by grammatical use. Okay. Fourth one, in this case, you are clearly dash a disadvantage at, in, with.
in third, why we can't use during? Can you repeat again?
That is what I'm saying. I think that is exactly what my whole speech for 10 minutes was that you can't ask a question why, right? This is how it is used, which is why I said grammatical use. Okay. During also is an indicator of period of time, but that's not how you use it. You have to say within 10 days, right? Okay. In this case, you are clearly dash a disadvantage. What was that? At, in, with?
With.
You are clearly at a disadvantage. Okay, not with. At a disadvantage. Okay. At a disadvantage. So same thing happens for advantage also. If someone's talking about advantage, then you would say, I am at an advantage when it comes to studies, right? So at a disadvantage, at an advantage. Okay. Uses that. Fifth one, this book dash PG Wodehouse is full of wit and humor, of, via, by. The book, this book dash PG Wodehouse, of, via, by. Which one would you use here? By. This book by someone, right? This is a book by, written by. So the book by PG Wodehouse is full of wit and humor, not book of or book via. Via definitely is wrong. Via indicates a very different meaning. Of, some people they have a tendency to use of, but of is wrong. Again, by. This book by so and so. Sixth one, my parents lived in the same city dash ages for over since.
4.
For ages, right? For is period of time. Does since indicate period of time? Yes, right? Now, luckily for and since you have an explanation, right? So what is that? When the period of time is not specific, right? Like for example, ages, then you say for. But if it's a specific period mentioned, then you use since. Okay. If you have a specific time to talk about, then you can use the word since, right? But otherwise you indicate for. But there are cases where this difference is, muted also. So in this case, anyway, for ages in the same city, for ages, not since ages. Since will, most often than not, since will require you to give you a specific time. Okay. For example, my parents lived in the same city. Okay. Oh no, since cannot be used in any way actually. Only for. Okay, when the period of time is indefinite or it is not clearly mentioned, it is always for. Okay. Although since is also something that you use to show period. Okay. Seventh one, the singer is French. I was dash the impression that she's Dutch. Off, under, in.
Under.
I was under the impression that she's Dutch. I have also seen people using off. I was off the impression. Now, is off the impression correct? Because it's a very commonly used thing. I don't know if you have heard it. It's a very commonly used interaction. I was off the impression that, so and so thing happened. Okay. So which one do you think is right or wrong, or do you think both are correct? People use of the impression, but keep in mind that it is not an appropriate usage. The actual use is under the impression, but nowadays I think it's probably because of the social media influence. A lot of people, this started as a trend with people who probably were not aware of the proper use, but then now in informal English, okay, anything that is not formally recorded, we pass it off as informal. So informal conversations, we see a lot of people using off the impression. But remember that the right usage, the correct usage is under the impression, not off the impression. Okay. Okay. Then the train should have been here, dash now, until, about, by.
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 The train should have been here by now. Correct. Yeah. So it should have been here by now, right? It indicates the maximum limit of something to have happened, right? Okay.
Ma'am, I
Ninth
have
one,
heard, sorry to interrupt. Ma'am, I have heard people saying over ages too. Is that correct?
what did you hear? Sorry, repeat.
Over ages.
Over ages.
Over ages.
No, over ages is a no.
Yeah.
Over ages is a plain wrong use. You won't find many people using that. People who are using that are basically wrongly using it.
Okay.
Over ages is not an expression that you use for yeah. I have been living in this same city. Over ages is an entirely wrong sentence. Okay.
No, not
So
this
these are all
sentence.
something that has come up because of bad use. Okay, so see, there are certain use which it's a debatable point, of course, but certain uses are plain bad, right? They don't make any sense when you say over ages, right?
Yes.
But some of them, in the due course of time, people accept them, right? They're like, okay, this is not a wrong use. This makes sense. I'm getting some sense of meaning from what you're saying. I'm getting, say, 90 to 95% meaning. Maybe a little bit of it is missing. So in that case, over a period of time, certain expressions become acceptable. But some of them, they don't convey anything properly. So that is because of bad use. Overages is not right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Then next one is, this one I am interested in knowing your answer. We've put a lot of effort dash this work. What is the answer?
Maybe in.
Into.
Into is the right answer. This again is a sentence which a lot of people would answer in. I have put a lot of effort in this work. You've put effort into something, okay, not in something. Efforts are always put into something, efforts into doing something, not efforts in doing something, right? So into although again in and into sounds like, they feel like they're exactly the same in meaning, there is a difference in that. What's the difference in and into? Anybody wants to try? So in is a state of being, right? State of being inside something, right? But into is something that gives you more, a feeling of a movement, right? You're moving right into the center of something, which shows, especially when you use a word like effort, it shows exactly how this person was totally involved in that. Okay. So, say in is again being inside of something, but without much involvement, right? Into is when you are also involved a lot in that. Okay. So that's the difference. So when you use a word like effort, because you are trying to convey that, how involved and how dedicated you were to that, into is the actual usage, not in, right? The very, very subtle differences, but even that differences makes a lot of difference in the meaning, right? Okay, then comes my friend and I drove. This is the last thing we're going to discuss for today. We'll take up the in, on, at for the next class because I need to talk a little bit about in, on, at. Okay, so my friend, 10th one, my friend and I drove dash the coastline of Chennai through onto along. Along, right? Along the coastline of Chennai, right? You don't drive through the coastline, you only drive along the coastline, right? You cannot drive through anything. Through would be what? You can drive through what? Say something like a tunnel, right? So you drive through the tunnel. That is correct, but not drive along the. What? Excuse me, can you talk a little softly? All right. So this one would be through. Along, right? So for something to be through, you need to have a space with which it can pass through. Am I right? Something like a tunnel, right? Here, but the coastline, you cannot drive through it, right? You can only pass along it. So these kind of prepositions, it's easier for us because, we can guess it from the meaning, right? You know what along means and what through means. But certain others, like for example, say for or, what is that? Since, and then, things like in and into, these things can create a little bit of confusion because there is a difference, but it's a very subtle difference, very, very subtle difference. That's why. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the next 30 questions we'll take up. If not entirely 30, we'll at least try and do, 10 or 20 of them. The rest of the 10, maybe you can do it on your own as a practice. But this one, I want to discuss a little bit with you. The answers for all of them would be one among in, on, or at. Okay. So we will discuss more about in, on, and at in the next class. I don't think we'll take more than 15-20 minutes for this exercise. And then we can go to articles, right? But this requires a little bit of discussion. So we'll look at that and then move on to articles. Okay. So thank you for staying back. It's already 11:10. Sorry for holding you back. We began a little late also, so thought it should be okay. I'll meet you again next week. Meanwhile, if you have any questions or doubts, of course, you have all your channels to talk to us, right? Okay. All right. So I'll meet you again. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you, ma'am.
Let's meet next week. Okay. All right.
Ma'am, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am,